Good evening, guys, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces. So guys, we got I woke up a little late today, but I did upload today. I didn't end up editing, which I was going to do later in the afternoon, but we actually well, we ended up watching the Bulls game tonight, and then after that I was like, okay, I'll edit, because everybody was kind of like getting up and going to bed, and then Matthew's like, I'm gonna go clean my room. And I told you guys that, like, well, he was at home over spring break. We were trying to, because him and Jack share the room that's like the bonus room upstairs, and so that's again the room that we need to do kind of the reno on. We're gonna tear out the drywall and the flooring and do all new drywall and flooring up there. And new windows, but I think we're doing new windows everywhere except for the living room, which were replaced a while ago. But anyways, so he was cleaning out all his stuff. I realized he didn't really have all of too much stuff that was actually there, because a lot of it he has at school with him, and so there was like a handful of things that like he wanted to keep and stuff like that. So we have only one box of stuff that's his, that he wants to take with him, you know, or wants to have with him for the new, like his new room. Everything else was all stuff that he literally ended up either getting rid of, or I mean, it's like, you know, like a tote size, you know, like I don't know how many gallons, but you guys know, like a pretty big sized, you know, decent sized tote. And so he ended up, you know, like either parting with everything or taking some stuff back to school with him anyway, or, you know, like whatever it might be, you know, kind of just doing that whole thing. You know, like I said, either donating some of the stuff, or some of the things were like with stuff that already maybe belonged in the attic. Like he had a box of trophies, and so we ended up like putting all that stuff together in a tote that's going to stay in the attic. So like, you know, that kind of thing. We ended up again like going through all that stuff. So again, he only has one box. I'm like astounded. Again, he has a lot of this stuff at school, but still I thought like, okay, we're gonna have to have like 4 or 5 boxes worth of stuff that he's just gonna want to keep, that's just gonna be moved into his new room when he moves, which will be in this room. So like I was saying, that was the whole thing. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a whole big process. We're gonna have to do this whole thing. He has one, you know, again, decent sized tote. That's all that's you know, coming back with him for, you know, this new room that he needs to just put aside and wants to bring out so that he can have it later. So anyways, that's awesome. We don't have to do much else. His room, other than that, is completely spotless. There's nothing in his desk drawers, which is actually going to be Jack's desk. There is nothing under his bed. We moved the entire bed. We moved the bed back. There's nothing on the walls. We took down all the posters. There is nothing up there. I think there's a lamp, and that's probably something that's going to go in his new room, which might have to go in that bin too. Other than that, I think that's it. I think there's nothing else that needs to be moved, that is his, that has to go places, whatever. His stuff is all done. And I thought that this was still, I thought there was still a ton of stuff left, and I was like, there's gonna be a whole big, huge process that we're gonna have to go through tomorrow. We finished it in 1 hour tonight, which again, we are up a little bit later tonight, but I didn't get to edit, obviously. But I have a ton of time now tomorrow to finish getting Jack's room done, which I thought was all gonna take Matthew's time. And most of the stuff he kind of handled. I'm a lot of times more just like, I don't know, like, it's funny, even when we were little, we would still like, I don't know who kind of came up with this term, like the runner, was like the person that was just kind of in charge of like whatever, like was, oh, this needs to go in this place. Then you were the runner, you went and put that in that place. Like somebody was kind of in charge, and then they would kind of just, you know, oh, I don't want this anymore. This goes to, again, Goodwill. I don't want this anymore. You know, ask Jack if he wants this. I don't, you know, this isn't mine. You know, go figure out whose it is, whatever. That was always like the runner. I don't know why, like we just kind of invented that term. But as a person that had to go and try and figure out where the stuff, you know, like, you know, again, this goes in the laundry room, this isn't mine, this is a screwdriver, you know, something like that, because I just had to put that away. That was at the forefront of my mind right now, because I know I just had to run one of those in the laundry room because we were using it to take down, Matthew had a volleyball picture that was hanging up, and it was actually screwed into like the wall, and so I had to use that. So anyway, getting so off topic here, guys. That's kind of what I was doing a little bit more. If Matthew was like, I don't want this anymore, I know where this stuff goes. So if he was like, I don't want this, I was like, okay, this is, you know, like, I'll see if Jack wants this, I'll see if my dad wants this, I'll see if, you know, anybody wants this before we give it to Goodwill. I will, you know, again, or if he was like, I do want this, I don't know where this goes, I'd be like, okay, that's perfect, I know where it goes in the attic, we have to go put it with this stuff, we have to go in. So like, that was kind of, again, like, he was obviously in charge of going through his things, but then I just kind of like knew where the stuff went from there, if that makes sense. So that was what I was doing, and again, it took us combined just an hour really to get this stuff done, and maybe 2 at most, because I think we started no, it had to have been even less than that time. So it was like maybe an hour and a half at most. So that's all done. Like I said, now tomorrow I can focus on getting Jack's side of the room done, and we might be able to finish all Jack's side of the room in just one day. That would be awesome. That would be like phenomenal. Now we might still end up coming across things that are in Jack's side of the room that were actually Matthew's things that belong to him, so we might have to have like another little box for the next time that he comes home that we go, hey, is this any stuff that you want? Jack says it wasn't his, and if then he says it's not his, okay, well if nobody wants it at this point and you both are saying it's not yours, then again we'll figure out if my dad wants it, he doesn't want it, we'll again donate it or whatever. So, like, we still might have some of that stuff, so he might not be completely done with all the things that he thinks are his, but for the most part, I think that we're pretty much done. And there's also not too much furniture. Like I said, Matthew has a bed, Jack has a bed, there's one dresser, there's one desk, and Jack has got a little a little side table and a little tiny, like, shelf thing, and then there's another shelf, two kind of shelf things that are also upstairs, which I'm not even sure they're going to keep. We have to kind of figure that out. But regardless, we're kind of to the point where, like I said, we're, you know, sort of done with a lot of this stuff, which is really awesome. And like I said, just kind of finishing up working on Jack's area, because where me and Jack were working like the last weekend or so was more in like kind of the family area sort of little room that's in that space, and we got almost all that stuff done, so that was really awesome. And I think there's still some stuff though, because it's like the family room it just has a couch, and the Jack's TV is on top of his dresser that's in like that section. So I think there's still some stuff under the dresser that I was trying to go through the other day while Matthew was upstairs going through some of his stuff. So other than that, like I said, I think that we're kind of, you know, like pretty much just working on Jack's space, and then after that we'll be done with everything that I can do upstairs. Then there's stuff that's my dad's that he needs to go through, because he has his desk upstairs also, and then there's like several bins of stuff that's up there. But now that Matthew's stuff is all kind of handled and taken care of and moved, I was like, oh my goodness, we've got, you know, like so much room. It looks so clean, and all of his stuff being taken care of now, it's, I think maybe will motivate a little bit more to get this stuff done, because now I'm like, my dad's area is sticking out like a sore thumb because Matthew's looks so clean. And again too, it's not, my dad cleaned off his entire desk, but there's just, like I said, like a couple bins that have stuff that my dad has to go through now, and it's kind of standing out because of how clean Matthew's area is, and like Jack's space a little bit too. He's got some clutter over there that needs to be again taken care of and cleaned and all that stuff. So again, really awesome that we are getting to all this stuff and handling and taking care of and cleaning all this. I am so happy. I am just like, you know, again, this is just one kind of, you know, little step that we were able to get done in an hour and a half, which again, I thought was going to take so long. We got it done so quick, and now we can move on to doing something completely different that I didn't even think was really going to get touched too much this weekend. I might be able to finish all of Jack's area this weekend, and we could be done with, like I said, almost the entire upstairs. Would be phenomenal. So like I said, that's awesome. But you know, again, we were you know, we ended up doing kind of all the what's it called, St. Patrick's Day stuff. I actually painted my nails yesterday, guys. I like never paint my nails too. I ended up doing green nail polish while I was sitting and watching TV last night, and so like I said, I ended up doing that, and I was wearing my green, my Notre Dame sweatshirt. It's like a vintage kind of sweatshirt, so I was wearing that. And then yeah, we ended up doing corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and carrots, and my mom made a like a mint chocolate cake with frosting and like some like rainbow kind of like decorations on the top, green and kind of like rainbowy kind of like sprinkles, that kind of stuff, for, you know, St. Patrick's Day and all of that. And then I'm trying to think, we had our green rivers, and yeah, I think, like I said, I don't know what else was included in that. We had a rye bread too, but I actually think that we might end up doing for fillets tomorrow, because I have a deal at Jewel on fillets and I don't have any more room in the freezer. So I think we're going to do those. Matthew's supposed to be leaving though. I'm not entirely sure at what time tomorrow, but he's going to be leaving at some point earlier, especially too since we're done so much earlier. And since we're going to probably grill more like a lunch, early, like late lunch-ish, very early dinner, instead of probably doing like a dinner for dinner, since Matthew will still be here for that. So anyways, it works out really well because Matthew was like, oh, I think I'm gonna leave like kind of earlier, like, you know, early afternoon. And I was like, we're gonna have to get so much stuff cleaned tomorrow, like, you know, and so much stuff taken care of. I was like, you know, like, don't plan on it. I was like, however long it takes, you know, and we finished it in 1 hour tonight. So I was like, that's awesome. And again, too, he gets to go back when he, you know, plans on it instead, which will work out well for him too, since we finished all that up. But like I said, I am like so excited. I am like so motivated, yet everybody else is asleep right now. So there's not a lot that I can do because it was weird. I was sitting in my bed and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna edit. And then all of a sudden I hear this noise that sounded like the vacuum cleaner going upstairs. And I was like, what is that? I go upstairs, Matthew's shredding papers. He was like, yeah, I don't need any of this stuff. And he was like, and I've never used a paper shredder before, so I wanted to try it out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, everybody else is trying to like sleep downstairs. And so then we were like, he was like, well, why don't you just help me like go through everything that's still up here and we can just like, you know, maybe finish this tonight. And I was like, it's gonna take a lot longer than tonight. And all of a sudden, like I said, an hour later we're done. I was like, okay, you proved me wrong. We got it all done. So like I said, today was a fun day. You know, like I said, getting to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but then also to getting to finish that space upstairs. Getting to watch the Bulls game all together and spend some family time too, since again, Matthew was home for like last weekend up until Wednesday, and then he went back to school for a couple days and then came back for St. Patrick's Day and was going to be home, like I said, tomorrow, so we could finish the cleaning, but he'll be home just for a little while tomorrow, so that again, we can do that. But you know, or so that, you know, we were gonna finish that, but now we don't have to entirely. So anyways, I will see you guys though all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.